Very good evening to all of you friends. A very good evening to all of you. Welcome to BYJU'S exam prep. In this session, I'm going to discuss with you some very important and interesting fact relating to property, succession, and inheritance. Now, property, the laws relating to acquiring property, which is under succession as well as under inheritance. That is all that I am going to discuss in the course of this session. But before that, I have a small little thing to discuss with you. Is that please read about Israel and Hamas war. Please read, because next year, whichever year you are preparing for, you might get a passage on international law, humanitarian law relating to the Israel and Hamas issue. Okay, very important thing. Please read the newspaper, because newspaper will give you a number of facts. Okay, and you might get a question on that very soon. Okay, so that's I wanted to tell you. But let's guys begin with your property, succession, and inheritance, the legal framework relating to property, succession, and inheritance. So the agenda for today's session is the concept of property, that is joint property, then separate property, that's joint property, then you have separate property, and then I'm also going to discuss with you inheritance and succession under Hindu law and other laws. Okay, so and we will finish with certain quizzes. So guys, let's begin. Now the concept of property, especially in relation to joint property as well as separate property. Now what is a joint property? A property jahan चार भाई, उनके पापा, उन लोगों के wives, children, they all stay together. Okay, that's something I'm sure that you must have heard about. Joint family. So the property that belongs to the entire family is called joint family property. And you have separate property. Suppose Mr. A owns some property, it belongs personally to him. Is that clear? Suppose you tomorrow buy a flat. Suppose you are a member of a joint family. You stay in a big house with your uncle, aunts, brothers, sisters, cousins, and all. So that's a joint family property. Separate property is when you buy a particular flat somewhere else. That becomes a separate property. So the term property is derived from the Latin term proprietary. And the French equivalent is proprius, which means a thing that is owned. So the word property or the concept of property has its history or has its origin in Latin as well as in French. So the moment we are talking about property, we are talking about ownership. Is that clear? Ownership of a particular property. We are dealing with ownership. Now, there are two types of property, as I said. One is the joint family property and the other one is a self-acquired property. The first one, meaning thereby that if you stay in a joint family, if you reside in a joint family, the property of the joint family in which you also have a share, that is called the joint family property. Self-acquired property simply means that the property that you acquire in your own lifetime with your own money. That can be a particular flat or an apartment. Before understanding all these, BYJU'S exam prep brings to you All India Open Mock for CLAT, which is absolutely live now. 20th October till the 29th of October. So please register now. Go to the description box below and a link is provided to you. Click on the link and attempt the All India Open Mock for CLAT. We are going to provide you with the video attempts, your strategy, video solutions, and your ranking vis-a-vis other students. Very important. So let's understand what is inheritance. Now, after a person dies, okay, suppose Mr. A dies, and after that, Mr. A had two sons. Like just an example. The property goes from Mr. A to his sons. This process of transferring the property is called inheritance. So after the death of the owner, all rights belonging to the deceased with regards to property are divided into two classes. Number one, inherited rights and uninherited rights. So let's understand this very important thing. So inheritance is this particular concept where after the death of a owner of a property, his property rights are devolved into two classes, inheritable rights and uninheritable rights. Now, what is succession? There are two ways of succession. One is interstate succession and the other one is testamentary succession. Interstate means a person who dies without a will. A person who has not made a will. There is no will. Is that clear? I'm sure that you know the meaning of will. And testamentary succession is where there is a will. Is that clear? So a person making the will, suppose I make a particular will that after I die, all my property, which includes A, B, C, D, and E, will go to Mr. A. So that's also a way of succession. The property that belongs to me after my death will travel to a particular person as per my will. Interstate succession means if I do not make a will, that is what we understand by testamentary succession. Is that clear? So if I make a will, that goes, it's called testamentary succession. If I do not make a will, then the method in which property is devolved is interstate succession. Now, who is an heir? Now, that's very, very important. A person to whom the property devolves. That's very, very important. So, legal heir. An heir is a person who gets the ownership of the property after the death of that individual. So, after Mr. A dies, the property shall go to his legal heir or the heirs. That is those person whom the property devolves after the death of the succession. Is that clear? Now, who is a testator? A testator is a person who has made a legally valid will before death. So, a person who has made a will, is called a testator. Okay, so if I make a will that after I die, my property A, B, C, D, E will go to Mr. X. So I am the testator. Okay, and what is a will? It is a legal declaration of a person's wish regarding disposal of his or her property after a death. So it is a legal declaration how the property of an individual shall devolve after his or her death. Am I clear? Everyone, am I clear to each and every one of you? Any questions? Okay. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Let's move ahead. Now there is a very important thing that I should tell you is that on 9th of March 2018, the Supreme Court of India gave a landmark verdict legalizing passive euthanasia, allowing the withdrawal of the life support for patients in permanent vegetative state to expedite their death. So if a person is in a vegetative state, for example, a person is in a coma for around 20 years, 30 years, there is no way he is going to be back in life properly. Okay, now that was in 2018, the Supreme Court said they are legalizing passive euthanasia. The ruling also recognized the rights of an individual to create a living will. giving them the choice to decline artificial support under specific condition. The court emphasized the right to die with dignity as part of fundamental right to life. So under Article 21, we have right to life. Article 21 deals with right to life. Now, if you see this, Article 21 also includes right to die with dignity. That is what the Supreme Court said. And that's how it created this concept of a living will, whereby a person can choose to decline artificial life support. Okay, there are various life support. Ventilator, I'm talking about ventilators, okay, which are used in ICUs. So you are declining the use of artificial life support under certain condition. That was recognized by the Supreme Court in 2018. This decision emerged from a PIL filed by an NGO Common Cause, while the debate on passive euthanasia gained attention due to the case of Aruna Subhan, a Mumbai nurse who remained in vegetative state for 40 years. So the first case of passive euthanasia came up in the Supreme Court in Aruna Subhan, wherein a nurse in a Bombay hospital was raped very badly, and because of that physical problem that she faced, she was in coma for around 40 years. The Supreme Court said, it's enough. She has suffered. Let's not make her suffer more. Let us take the life of this particular woman. She has suffered enough. 40 years she is in coma. It's very difficult, okay? You have to understand this concept of passive euthanasia also. Before I move ahead, BYJU'S Exam Prep brings to you unlock your 3-day free trial access to all our courses. Go to the description box below. There is a link that is provided and you can unlock your 3-day free trial access to all our courses. Next is, what is testamentary succession? Testamentary succession means when a person disposes of his property by a will. So if I make a will whereby I say that all my property after my death shall go to Mr. A, Mr. B or Mr. C, that is called making a will. I am a testator. So a person can make a will only of his or her separate property under the Indian Succession Act. Now, if there is a joint property, inherited property, suppose the property that I get belongs to my great-grandfather. Suppose my great-grandfather did construct a huge house. My grandfather thereafter was there, my father, and now me. Now, can I tomorrow say that this part of the property, I have a share in the property, this part of the property, since it belongs to me, I make a will and give it to someone else? I cannot do it. I cannot do it because it is a prohibition. It has to go to my son or my daughter. They have a right over the inherited property. Keep this in your mind. Very, very important. I tomorrow cannot not give an inherited property to the legal lineage of the family members. Very important. Now, what is intestate succession? Means that a person who dies without making a will, known as intestate, and succession of his property is known as intestate succession. So, if you do not make a will and if you die, how is the property going to go? Now, it goes as per the Hindu Succession Act. So, if a person does not make a will, before his or her death, then the property he has will devolve under as per the rules of the Hindu Succession Act, insofar as both separate property as well as joint property. Now, daughters also have inheritance rights equal to that of sons. Very, very important. Under the Hindu Succession Act, men and women have equal inheritance right. No. So, something like, If I die, if I have a son and a daughter, both will inherit equal parts of my property. There cannot be any kind of discrimination. Both are equal in the eyes of law. Now let's understand under the Muslim law. Now there is no code for interstate succession. Now it is governed by the religious rules, religious texts. No discrimination between ancestral and self-acquired property. Now, so under the Hindu law, there is a difference between ancestral property and self-acquired property. I cannot, if I follow Hinduism, I cannot stop my son. मैं मेरा बेटा को मेरा खानदान का जो प्रॉपर्टी है उसको देने से मना नहीं कर सकता. But in Muslim law, you can do it. There is no distinction between ancestral and self-acquired property. The right of an heir comes into existence on the death of the ancestor. So the right of an heir comes into existence. That is what the Muslim law says relating to after the death of an ancestor, there is a legal right insofar as property is concerned, which goes to the heirs. Now, in other religion, for example, Christians and Parsis, the Indian Succession Act of 1925 governs interstate succession for Christians and Parsis. Every religion has its own rules of interstate succession, but there are certain concepts that are common to all religion. That is, accedents, dissidents, and collaterals. There are certain important concepts which, insofar as the Indian Succession Act is concerned. Now let's understand. Now when we teach these things in later, we are going to explain to you in much details. Now accedents, dissidents, and collateral. Accedents are the ancestors of a person both on the parental and maternal side. Are the ancestors of the person both maternal and paternal side, पापा के तरफ और मम्मी के तरफ, दोनों तरफ है. Descendants mean the immediate descendants of a person. That means sons and daughters. So accedent means grandfather, grandmother, both maternal and paternal side. Descendants mean sons and daughters, and collaterals are descendants in parallel lines. My cousin, they are in parallel line. That is collateral. Am I clear? Accedents means ancestors in both in the patriarchal as well as in the matriarchal side. Okay, paternal and maternal side. Okay, descendants are the sons and the daughters, and collaterals are my brothers. Parallel line. Am I clear? Who have a common ancestors. Okay, my grandfather is also the grandfather of my cousin, brother, right? That is called collaterals. Relation for or by full blood, half blood, and uterine blood. Relation by full blood means same father and same mother. Half blood means same father, different mother. Uterine blood, same mother, different father. Am I clear? Very important. Please note these three things down. These are very important things. I hope you are understanding, right? So guys, if you're liking this session, do press the like button. If you are liking this session, do press the like button and share this session, because we are right now talking about some very important aspect relating to property, inheritance, and succession, right? Okay. Moving on. BYJU'S exam prep brings to you CLAT 2025 comprehensive course, wherein we are providing you with 380 hours of live classes, 300 recorded videos, 55 mock tests, 10,000 practice tests, and topic-wise tests. You will get study material, doubt resolution, and the CLAT Ignite magazine. So guys, let's start with the quiz. The first thing, what is the Latin term for the term property? The correct answer is proprietorate. Proprietorate. Is that clear? The word property comes from the Latin term called proprietorate. Okay. Moving on to the next question. What are the two types of properties discussed in context of succession and inheritance? One is the joint property of the family, and the other one is a self-acquired property. So the correct answer over here is joint family property and self-acquired property. Am I clear? The two types of properties. One is a joint family property, the other one is a self-acquired property. Okay. Moving on to the next question. Question number 3. What are the two classes into which a deceased owner's property rights are divided after his death? Okay. What are the two classes? The first class is what can be inherited. The other one is what cannot be inherited. So it is divided into inheritable and non-inheritable rights. Am I clear? These are the two classes of rights that comes in question after a deceased owner property rights dies, after the person dies. Is what is inheritable right, what is non-inheritable right. Okay. Next question. Which term refers to the division of a deceased owner's right regarding the property? The correct answer is, tell me fast, is called succession. Am I clear? The term refers to the division of a deceased owner's right. That is succession. Question number 5. Who is an heir in context of property succession? And the correct answer is the person to whom the property devolves. An heir is the person to whom the property devolves after that person dies. Is that clear? Question number 6. What is a testator? So a testator is a person who makes a will. Okay. So a person who challenges a will in the court, a person who makes a legally valid will before death. Yes. Very easy question, I think. So these questions are simply made to check whether you have understood the entire session or not. Okay. Just a kind of a revision. What is a will in legal term? A formal family gathering, a legal declaration of a person's wish regarding property disposal after death? Yes. A property dispute? No. A legal contract for property sharing? No. The correct answer is option B. Is that clear? Is that clear? All of you. So guys, you are enjoying this session, right? Moving on to question number 8. Which act governs testamentary succession in India? And the correct answer is, when we are talking about India, we are not only talking about, Hindus. We are talking about everyone. Hindus, Muslims, Parsis, Christians, everyone. The Indian Succession Act of 1925. The Indian Succession Act of 1925. Okay. Moving on to the next question. Question number 9. When does interstate succession occurs? When does interstate succession occurs? When a person disposes of their property through a will. Interstate, there is no will. When a person dies without making a will, yes, that is called interstate. If it is testamentary, then it means by will. Testamentary means by will. Am I clear, all of you? Is that clear to everyone? Are you guys understanding? Question number 10. Which law governs interstate succession for Hindus? It's the Hindu Succession Act. Hindu Succession Act of 1925. No. That's called the Indian Succession Act. Yeah. And the Hindu Succession of 1956. Yeah. It's the Hindu Succession Act of 1956. Okay. Not the Indian, because we are talking about Hindus in specific. Very easy question, I think. Question number 11. in which religious law there is no codified law for interstate succession. Hindu law is codified. Christians and Hindus and Buddhists follow the same law, Hindu Succession Act. Christian Indian Succession Act. Muslim law is the uncodified law. So the Muslim people follow their own religious text insofar as interstate succession is concerned. Moving on to question number 12. What is common to all religions regarding interstate succession? Ascendants, descendants, and collaterals. Very good. Equal inheritance rights for son and daughter might not be. A preference of ancestral property, no. Age at which one can create a will, no. So the correct answer is ascendants. Who is ascendants? Grandfathers, both maternal and paternal side. Descendants, sons and daughters. Collateral is same, equals, cousin, brother, cousin, sister. Is that clear? Cousins. Is that clear? That is common to all religion relating to interstate succession. Okay? So guys, did you enjoy? Did you guys all enjoy this session? Before I end, I hope you enjoyed this session because we are talking about something that is very, very important from the point of view of your legal studies for class 11. CLAT 2025 comprehensive course. If you want to join, we will provide you with 380 hours of live classes, 300 recorded videos, 55 mock tests, 10,000 practice question, practice test, study material, doubt resolution, and the CLAT Ignite magazine. Before I end, do subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Instagram, like our Facebook page, join our Telegram channel, and do not forget to download the BYJU'S exam prep app today from Google Play. So guys, with this, we come to the end of this session. Thank you very, very much. God bless you. Stay home, stay safe, stay healthy. Bye-bye. Take care. Good night. All the best, okay? And have a great Navratri. Have a great Navratri and Durga Puja. Thank you. God bless you.